Welcome to Dynamite Delight. Maybe I should stop doing that. Tell me if you don't like me saying Dynamite Delight. I actually like it. Anyway, Fight Night. Or Championship Fight Night, as they call it. I'm just going to call it Fight Night. Was this a good show? Yeah, it was a good show. It was a damn good show. But before I get started, I do have to say one thing. I need to get this off my chest. Off my ain't much of a chest. I wish to apologize for yesterday. I was not feeling well. Sore throat. I was down like this. Mostly due to the fact that a change in New York. The weather went from super cold to warm, then felt muggy. You could actually see your breath, but it wasn't super cold. And it just messed with my throat, and it just screwed me up. So I do apologize. I'm sorry I didn't do my NXT review. But I do got to say this before I get started. I tried, after I realized I just couldn't do it, I thought, I'll look at some NXT. I did fall asleep on some of it, so I didn't see it all. Why don't I check and see if MLW, well, let me give it to you like this. I tried to find Underground where they suggested it. I couldn't get it. I couldn't see it at all. Now, they were supposed to say you can see it on Pluto TV. And I tried it at 10 o'clock. I didn't see anything of it. So I thought maybe it might be on a premium. And maybe till next day it would show up on Pluto TV. I tried to find it. If you go to Pluto TV, you can see Impact Wrestling repeat. But I didn't see anything of MLW. Maybe I might have messed up, which I probably did. But as far as I know, you should be able to see Pluto TV and then see MLW Underground. Even if you're not paying for the premium service, because I'm not going to do that. I'm sorry, guys. I don't have the type of budget to pay for what's going on for Fight. And if I was going to do something on the WWE Network, which I thought about doing, I did do the free subscription at one point. But essentially, I don't have that type of money to go and do premium. I'm not going to do premium reels. I'm not. If it's only on premium reels, I'm not going to be able to see it unless I go to the nefarious places to see it. So unless the nefarious places see it, or it shows up on Pluto TV, which I might have missed it. You guys tell me below. Maybe you saw it on Pluto TV. Maybe you know which channel it was on. Because the only thing I saw was Impact. Now, this took more than 2 minutes. Let's get into the show. Opening match was the AEW, well, it was a AEW elimination match, which basically is what WWE does. You go up against the champ. If you win, you get a shot later. That's what the eliminators were. If you win, you don't win the championship. You basically get a shot at the championship later. Now, I will give AEW this, and I don't like that, honestly. I don't like it when they do it, but I will say this now that I had time to now see how it is. At least they gave it a name, and instead of using a gimmick like using how WWE was doing it with Vince, at least they gave it a name, and hopefully they don't do it often. But we got Kateska versus MJF. It was I will give you this. Out of the matches that happened on this show, this was one of my favorites. It was. I'm not a high-flying fan of wrestling. I like a well-rounded match that does have sometimes high-flying in it, or more ground and pound, more chain wrestling, or whatever. They can always switch it up. I gotta say, this was a damn good match. You get to see MJF flip. Well, basically, I don't have the shot of it, but as he and Kateska were up on the top turn rope, you would expect MJF to take that throw. He did not take that throw. He managed to do a forward flip out of it, or was it a back flip? I think it was a forward flip out of it. He managed to get out of it. He might have tweaked his leg a little bit while doing it, but he looked damn good. In the end, Kateska got his ass beat. And then Diamond Ring, cut to the head, and the Bryan Danielson coming out to save him. Good look. Wonderful show. And I can tell you, and I have to do the promo last, because the promo you must love to hate. That might be the total. I want to say right now, but I'm going to go through everything else. I will go for MJF promo last. Now, next, we get the eliminator for Jamie Hayter. Now, let's make this clear. I believe I got the shot. It's in my face. You see Bunny. You see Bunny doing something like a scorpion that Rosemary usually would do. And you see how big her boobies are. I want to make this clear. Do I like big boobies? Yes, I do. Do I like small boobies? Yes, I do. And I'll say close. Yes, I like small boobies and everything in between. Yes, I love it. I love boobs. And when it comes down to it, as a wrestling reviewer, unlike everybody else, they're not going to mention how pretty much when you see Bunny or any other woman who wears a top who has maybe over a C cup easily, unless they're using a push-up bra, they show cleavage. Did it interfere in this match? No, it did not. Did we get a good match out of the Bunny and Jamie Hayter? Yes, we actually did. I will tell you this. Was it a great match? No, but it was a good match that most of the people were into. But I am going to say two things that happened. One, you already saw the picture. I'll throw it in your face again. A nice pair of boobs. Look like they're about to spill out of her top. Very well held in. She's one of the few women there to have some really big boobs. The second, which was more important, was a possible concussion. I'm possibly wrong, but when you saw Jamie Hayter and a Bunny outside the ring, I don't know if I got the shot. If I don't, hopefully I can find it later on a replay before I start editing this video, because I'm probably going to put images in. But when you see this, when Jamie Hayter grabbed Bunny and tried to make her look like she was pile drived into it, Bunny's head was not straight like this. Like this. She was like this. And if I got the shot, it's in my face right now. She might have actually hit her head onto the area of the ring skirt, where the edge of the ring is, where there is steel. There's no wood there. There's mainly steel. And I think she might have gave a concussion. Now, I could be easily wrong, but the way she was acting after that happened, she was not working right. She was grabbing her head a lot. When Jamie Hayter was kicking her, when she was down, she did not fully respond. She barely managed to get up when Jamie Hayter nailed her and ended the match just there and then. Because I think she might have been done. Honestly, yes, she managed to roll out of the ring with the help of the ref. But honestly, I'm not sure. But I am kind of worried about her because she went head first like this. Not like this, where yes, you can turn your head a little bit, or you can take it almost head on. She was like this. Forehead straight into, I'm sorry, the ring skirt. I'm not ring skirt, but you get the edge of the ring. I'm hoping she's okay. Hopefully she's not concussed. But you guys tell me below, you can check for yourself. Now, next match. I think this wasn't a very good match, but it wasn't a bad one either. You know why? This could have been a main event on its own. And this is the Garcia Guevara match. What was it called? The Garcia Guevara, I forgot, eliminator match, I think? Or just the Garcia Guevara special match. Where basically you got to go through Daddy Match, you got to go Parker, you got to go through Garcia, and you got to go through pretty much go to a Chris Jericho. They're giving him like a gauntlet. One after another after another. And the problem I had was Parker and Daddy Magic pretty much got done quickly. Within 5 minutes, both of them were eliminated. I didn't want to see that. You're going to try and make guys, I'm sure the other guy, everybody else is going to say the match was fine, but I'm not going there. Look, this should have been a main event on its own. You should have had this eliminator itself. Well, basically, it was like an elimination match or a gauntlet match. I don't care. But essentially, you should have had at least 5 minutes, 5 minutes for each, at least. Not two guys gone within 5 minutes. And then you get a little bit of Garcia, where they're acting like a little confusion, that Garcia was coming out, then Guevara was coming out. That was just a mess with the Ricky Starks. And then you got the Garcia match which was not very long at all because there was so much going on in the show where it should have been its own main event. This should have been its own main event. This should have ended the show, particularly that you got a guy in a lucha match, which was Chris Jericho, who gave the damn Judas effect to a Ricky Starks, which ended the match, and there was no match between Ricky Starks and Chris Jericho. Not at all. This should have been at a main event. This should have been the main event, but it was not the main event. It felt rushed. You shouldn't have to lose two guys in less than 5 minutes. I'm sorry. You should have had the end of the show, give it 30 minutes or 25 minutes. Even if the matches have to be 5 to 7 minutes long, at least it would feel substantial. And it did not. For me personally, I didn't like it. It should have been longer. Now, next match, which was Roost versus Bryan Danielson. Now, let's make this very, 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 very clear. We got a Bryan Danielson checking on Kateska, who got bled after getting that diamond ring to the face. But he got locked into the trainer's room because it looks like Roost's manager tried to make sure that he would not get out, along with the other guy, number 10. I keep forgetting his actual name that he's now using. I keep forgetting it. I will eventually get it when they use him more often, because I don't see him often enough. But Bryan Danielson had to do a little bit of shoulder. And then he breaks out, runs past everybody, gets into the ring, gets his ass whooped for quite a while by Roost. Look, this was the most brutal match that they had. The match I liked the most was Kateska and MJF. The second match, the most brutal match, was Bryan Danielson and Roost. That match, you see bleeding again. Now, no guys, if you don't know this, anytime blood is shown, AEW has to pay a fine. That's part of the FCC. I think they paid 10 grand, $5,000 to $10,000 each time someone bleeds. So this was the second time in the night, so there had to be about $10,000 to $20,000 fine that AEW had to pay, I believe. So they didn't care. They're making money, so they can basically afford to show blood. That's what Tony Khan thinks. We need to show blood, so let's take a $20,000 or a $10,000 fine. Who cares? They're making a lot of money, so. But this was the most brutal match. It was the second best match of the night, and in the end, you get Bryan Danielson not just showing how tough he is, but he will not stop. And he wins. Until MJF puts him into the salt of the earth and pretty much acts like he's trying to break his arm, and security had to be brought out to try and stop him. Had to forcibly hold him to try and break him. Well, forcibly try to break the hold. Good. Still not saying the promo yet. It's coming. It's coming. Next match, which is the second to last match. That is the trios match of AR Fox with Top Flight versus the Elite for the trios titles. Now, let me tell you this. Was that a damn good match? Yes. Is AR Fox highly acrobatic? Yes. He did a lot of spots that I am definitely sure, just Alex, who is a spot guy, is going to be talking about it. Talking about, oh, there was this spot, and then he was this spot. I don't need to tell you. You can look for highlights for yourself. I will tell you this. Between AR Fox, Dante, as well as, what is his name? Oh, for goodness sake. What is it? Diamant. I always forget his brother's name. But I will tell you this. Is Top Flight acrobatic? Yes. Is AR Fox more acrobatic than them? To a certain extent, yes, due to the fact he's a lot more seasoned than they are. But I will tell you this. Is he better than Elite? Is he better than Matt Jackson or Nick Jackson or Kenny Omega himself? No. Yes, there was one spot where pretty much it was, I believe it was Nick who was caught, but then Matt and Kenny got caught. No. My mistake. I've reversed that. We got Matt, who who was on the mat, and I believe it was Darius. There you go. Darius, who was pinned. AR Fox and Dante are about to nail him, and he grabs them and does a suplex with both of them while he still had Dante pinned backwards. That was a very good spot. Very good spot. I'm not saying it isn't done often, but it was very good. I can easily say I liked it. But I don't believe AR Fox is better than Nick or Matt Jackson or Kenny Omega. Can he be more acrobatic? Yes, he could. But I believe, is he better than them in overall wrestling? No. I don't believe so. Not because he's not seasoned. I'm just going by the quality I've seen so far. I've seen AR Fox to a certain extent. You got the Elite here, and there's AR Fox. Individually, any one of them, Nick, Matt, or Kenny, I've seen them enough to know how they are. He's here from what I can see so far. Not because that's bad, it's just because I've not seen enough of him to see that he can do more than just that. Because you got Kenny, Nick, and Matt that can do a lot more. An overall wrestler just doesn't mean you're the best as high flying, just because you're better than high flying. I see as an overall wrestler. The Elite still won. They didn't lose their titles. Now, the final match of the night. The Acclaimed versus the Guns for the AEW tag titles. And pretty much Billy decides he doesn't want to get in the way of both of them. He goes into the back. Was Caster's rap good? Yes, it was. I did enjoy it. Was the match good? Yes, it was. At least until you get to see Bowman, who's in the ring, and I believe it might have been Colton. I believe it was Colton. He's trying to hit him. He does a rolling elbow. He nails the ref. Ref goes outside. Once that happened, you can see either Colton or his brother Austin. I think it might have been Austin who was in the ring. Or was it Colton? I believe it was Austin in the ring. Billy comes down because at that point, he went and got one of the titles. He was about to nail Bowman. If I remember, nail Bowman. And you could see, I believe I got a shot in my face, where you see him face to face one of his sons. If I'm right, it is Austin. I think it's not Colton. I think it's Austin, but I could be wrong. And it was the other brother who nails Billy. Doesn't care. He grabs the other titles, nails him. Billy is nailed. They roll him out. Eventually, the ref is thrown back into the ring. And eventually, Bowman gets nailed. And the Guns win. Everybody in El Paso was pissed. They did not want to see that. They did not want to see they didn't want to see the Acclaim lose. They were angry the Acclaim lost. And that's great. Finally, when it comes to Colton and Austin Gunn, they needed to become good heels or good faces. They didn't work as faces. And they have not been doing great as heels until you hear that crowd just go absolutely anger, heat on them. That shows that now they've succeeded and they become good heels. Can they talk very well yet? No. But they're not bad. Do they wrestle good? Yes. So they'll have to compensate either with better talking or more work in the ring or more character attitude. In other words, doing some type of slapstick or more violent or vicious stuff or being more crude than that. It doesn't matter. That will compensate if they can't talk that well. You just got to learn to compensate to make yourself very good. And they've done well. Nothing wrong with it. I give it to them. They've done well. But let's be honest here. Two things on this show. A lot of blood, which I believe for one match, when it came to MJF, it was necessary. Well, actually, I think also Bryan and Roost, they need to be blood. But it could have been just from one match. But the other one that was needed was that promo from... Bitch. Damn, that promo was so damn good. Oh. When the match was over, he beats Kateska. He goes into the back and he gets interviewed. And I believe I got a shot of him. He's in my face. That some bitch was such a I'm botching my words. Such a silver-tongued devil. He made it very clear. Look, I'm going to give you a story. It was story time for MJF. He makes it so clear. I've always been special. I've always done something foolish or very reckless. I used to drive too fast and get myself in trouble, and I came this close to losing my license and getting revoked, but I stopped myself. And when it was time for high school, when it was time for the prom, and there was, I believe he called her Liz. I don't remember. He said she was gorgeous. She had beautiful brown skin, gorgeous brown eyes, wavy hair. She was gorgeous. He came up to her and he said, honey, get into my car. Let's go and take a ride. And along with, oh my gosh, he made it very clear. He got some good head on that night. But he also said that as they were driving, it was raining. And as it was raining, he lost control. And as he lost control, he hit a damn... what? When he said he hit a telephone pole and he tasted metal in his mouth like pennies. He saw he was bleeding. And he saw that his girl had hit the windshield and she was bleeding. And she was still breathing along with bleeding from her head. He saw the police coming. He made it very clear. You know what I did? You want to know what type of man you're dealing with, Bryan Danielson? Before they came, I made her switch places with me. I switched places with her and let her take it. Because I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get the hell I want, and I'm going to make sure you learn it. That promo, that is the best of the year. And we only got started. It's February. That is one of the best promos I've seen all of this year so far. Any promo before this, I don't give a rat's ass. That was such a beautifully constructed, very well timed, very vicious promo. I truly believe that MJF went to Eddie Kingston. Look, you may say a lot about Eddie. Eddie knows how to do promos. That boy is a promo genius. He had to go to him. No one says MJF isn't great on the mic. He is so good, but it doesn't mean he can't still get more help. And I feel like he went to him and said, Eddie, look, I want to do this real good promo. Can you give me some point? I want to run it by you. And if he ran it by Eddie, and he probably told him, sounds good, but I want you to do it like this. And probably Eddie told him, why don't you do it a little bit like this? And I'm sure MJF, who's not stupid, who does listen to people who've been around for a while, took a little bit of what Eddie talked about. And with anything he'd already came up with, this is what you got. The promo that you love, that you must hate. The promo you love that you must hate. To make sure that MJF is so hot. Because this was one of the best promos I've seen him do in a long time. And don't get it wrong. Don't get it twisted. He does a lot of great promos. But this one for this year is so good. So hot. I'm sure people are going to talk about just for that bit alone. And people are going to say, motherfucker, he actually talked about getting head on his prom? And made it like that on national and international TV. That bastard. I love him. That's what's going to happen. But the rest of that promo is so good. There's no way you cannot deny that this could be the number one promo of the year. And there's going to be more promos coming from MJF, from anyone else. But this one is so good. It's one of the top 5. I don't care. For me, number 1 right now. I don't know what could knock it out. But that counts if I even remember this, because honestly, I'm going to see if I can get it from AEW. I'm going to see if I can download that sucker and keep it so I can remember it. So if I do a promo of the year, counting if I ever remember, because I could forget, I will refer to that one. But this is just me, and I hope you enjoyed this Dynamite Delight. Give me a comment below, and I am sorry I didn't do my NXT review. Like I said, I sound like this. I did not sound good. The weather in New York became so erratic. It got super cold. At one point, I believe I even said on video, it was like -10 at one point, or -3. Then the temperature rose back up into the 50s. And at one point, there was almost like fog outside. Not even saying it was fog. It was just regular weather, but you could see your breath. It was so muggy. Peace.